Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. It is a great privilege to invite here and share with you about the Korean National Dementia Helpline, an example of the dementia-friendly society mentioned earlier today. What would you do if your parent with dementia accuses a family member of stealing every minute, but don't know how to deal with it? What if you are a caregiver and the care facility has just rejected your spouse for the aggressive behavior, but have no one to ask for help or for information? What would you do? If I were you, I would dial 1-899-9988. It's the number of the Korean National Dementia Helpline, which can be shortened as KNDHL. The number 1-899-9988 is easy to remember, but also has a wishful meaning for people to be able to keep their healthy memory of 18 until 99 years old and live sprightly with it until 99. Before we move on, let's watch the video clip on KNDHL. KNDHL used this video for public service advertising in the media to promote KNDHL. 리모트 움직일 수 있게 다실 때 Well, the video clip had a sound, so I'm sorry, I apologize for that mistake. But the video is on YouTube, so if you search the Korean National Institute of Dementia, it's easily found. This page is KNDHL's history at glance. The KNDHL started in December 2013, and it prepared the counselors for 4 months before it opens. The training programs for the counselors will follow during the presentation. 1 month after its opening, KNDHL started weekly policy suggestion to the Ministry of Health and Welfare, and it continues until today. In 2015, KNDHL became more close to the public by offering the Hanaro service, connecting the clients and the local dementia centers, as well as by publishing and distributing Spring in My Hometown, the KNDHL annual report. In 2016, KNDHL started to support dementia-friendly self-help groups titled as Hearing, which means careful and thoughtful understanding of others' situation or mind. KNDHL achieved Korean Standard Certification in 2017, proving the excellence for its service and management. And last year, KNDHL took office at Dementia Research Center by conducting a nationwide telephone survey. The KNDHL started in a firm ground that is backed by legislation. On the legal side, the Dementia Management Act provided the base for KNDHL to be launched by stating the Minister of Health and Welfare may establish a dementia counseling call center to provide professional and systemic counseling service about prevention of dementia, management of dementia patients, and etc. in its Article 17. On the policy side, the second Dementia Management Act also provided a base for KNDHL to be installed under the Korean National Institute of Dementia, as well as the base for its role to perform, that is, enhancing family support. The KNDHL now has grown to the organization with about 30 staff. Depends on the types of the counseling. The counselors are divided into two groups, general and professional. The professional counselors who provide emotional support and more in-depth counseling than general counselors have over 4 years of related experience when hired. Nearly 70% of the staff have background in social work, and about 44% have master's degree. With the head of the department, KNDHL has two teams, management quality and counseling quality. Management quality team takes care of the administration, such as budget and staff training. The counseling quality team monitors counseling service provided and is responsible for the annual report, Spring of My Hometown. KNDHL has the capacity to handle a maximum of 2,000 calls at once. The incoming calls made to KNDHL go through the dual security system, which are the firewalls and the L3 switch. Both work in pair to filter and let only the valid IP addresses to come through for the counselors to answer. The call information at Seoul National University Bundang Hospital. The saved files are used to indicate the current status of calls in the screen and the counselors' computers at KNDHL, as well as to manage the call and the caller's history through the helpline software. The two CTI servers support each other, so when CTI 1 works, the other rests. But when a problem occurs and CTI 1 stops working, the other wakes up. As a result, the system is at work at all times. The incoming calls made to KNDHL are also voice recorded, and it is monitored regularly. To protect this network system, KNDHL has its own power system that can back up the network for up to 30 minutes in case of blackout. KNDHL service can be grouped into 6 strategies. First, accessibility for the client convenience. Second, quality control for the high-level counseling. Third, active care for devoted support. Fourth, bridging for filling the gap between the client and the dementia center. Fifth and last, research and policy for delivering the voice of people with dementia to the policymakers. First is counseling. KNDHL is open to anyone who has questions about dementia. There are 3 different ways to contact KNDHL. If a person is a caregiver and can answer the phone only during a certain time, he can use a smartphone application called Check Dementia to make callback reservation. The major method used to reach KNDHL is via telephone. KNDHL's counseling service is available 24/7, and since its opening in 2013, KNDHL never had a day off. Lastly, a person can access KNDHL via online by leaving the questions in the bulletin for the KNDHL to answer. KNDHL provides counseling in 2 types for the inquiries that people bring. The information counseling is usually done by the general counselors and lasts for about 5 to 10 minutes per call. The information counseling is about symptoms and treatment methods of dementia, ways to prevent or the risk factors. The care counseling is done by the professional counselors who have more experience with the people with dementia. The care counseling is about supporting the caregivers and includes the communication regarding the skills for dementia, care burden reduction, emotional support, and stress management. The care counseling typically lasts for about 30 minutes per call. The counseling provided has grown to 78% of all the counseling done. But the proportion of the counseling content that people inquired the most has changed over the years. In the information counseling, the inquiries regarded to early detection was the major reason for the clients to contact KNDHL. But in 2018, it has changed to the support service. The proportion in care counseling is also turned from care skills to care burden. I think these changes indicate that the KNDHL is taking its place more and more among the caregivers and the people with dementia who already are living with dementia. Next is the staff training. To provide the high-quality counseling, KNDHL makes certain that its counselors are well prepared. KNDHL provides 280 hours of training about dementia and counseling when first hired. At the end of this new hire training, the counselor writes the final test, and only those who pass the test can start to take their own calls for counseling. Even after starting the counseling, the counselors are trained with continuing education. KNDHL provides 140 hours of training each year to every counselor. The contents for the continuing education vary, and the training covers from the most recent related information on dementia and care to counseling and communication skills for client satisfaction. To improve their counseling skills and for their counseling quality, KNDHL staffs also receive training individually and in groups, using the calls recorded through the KNDHL's network system. The KNDHL monitors the voice recording of the calls to KNDHL both frequently and regularly. The frequent monitoring is 5 to 6 cases per week, and the regular monitoring is once a month, 1 case for each counselor. The calls are monitored for the voice, intonation, speech pronunciation, and skills on needs assessment, problem solving, information delivery, and communication. Each counselor receives feedback for their skills and attitude that appear during their counseling sessions, so they can recognize what needs to be improved. If the same issues appear commonly from a number of counselors, the supervisors in the counseling quality team give a group coaching to those counselors to help them to learn to advance their capacity. Depends on the issues that appear and the size of the counselors who are under those problems, the call monitoring can become an indicator for the subject to cover in the next step training. One of the criteria on selecting the calls to monitor is the auto calling system result. As one of the methods to maintain its counseling quality, KNDHL conducts 3 types of customer satisfaction survey all the year round, and ACS is scheduled every month. It connects the clients that surveyed at the end of the counseling with their permission and asks for their experience with KNDHL on the access time, counselor's attitude, and the counseling content. People answer the questions in the level of 5 for each question, and for the calls that score low, become the case to examine for the call monitoring. Mystery Shopper and the customer satisfaction survey is conducted once a year and focus on the needs assessment and communication skills and the client's overall counseling experience each. Besides the effort to maintain its service at high quality by staff training and customer satisfaction, KNDHL provides the services a step further than offering the telephone counseling. Through the counseling on dementia information and care, the counselors obtain information on the clients and their situation. When the client needs resources beyond information giving and emotional support, KNDHL refer the clients to the service providers outside of KNDHL or walks the clients to the in front of the service provider's door. The resources for referral can be divided into 4 types: the services in the local dementia centers and the services through long-term care insurance or not-for-profit organizations. For the services such as early diagnosis and addiction treatment, KNDHL forward the client's information so those organizations can contact the client. Other services like medical supply benefits, KNDHL first explains the process and gives the information about the service provider that is near to the client, and then mail the documents so they can file the application themselves. KNDHL have their own data of referral resources and continue to update it. This is one of the best examples of the KNDHL's referral service. A son called to KNDHL and reported that his mother cannot remember his name and repeats the same word over and over. He also described his mother has had reflux esophagitis for the last 15 years. He also said she's only 23 kilograms at the moment. He also explained that their living became difficult to make ends meet due to the high rent in the city and the mother's debts. So they recently moved to the outside of Seoul when he reached out to KNDHL. After the call, KNDHL referred the son and the mother to the community service center and see if they could apply for the emergency aid and support. Thankfully, the community service center was able to intake this family and assist them with their rent and minimum cost of living. After a while, the son called KNDHL again, saying that the mother is suffering from ascites. KNDHL contacted the community service center again, and through the community service center, the mother received emergency medical aid. Like the case of this family, KNDHL connected the clients and the resources 350 times in 2018. And since its opening, 1150 cases were covered for the resource coordination. In addition to the resource coordination, KNDHL also provides case management to the people with dementia or their caregivers who appear to have complex issues and be in need for the regular and continuous support. Case management is mainly about the enhanced emotional support so the caregivers can gain strength and walk through their journey with people with dementia. For the case management, KNDHL had 430 clients in 2018, offering about 4,700 case management sessions in total. It is about 11 sessions per client. Another example to introduce is for the case management. A daughter of a caregiver living with a mother with dementia. In 2015, the mother had a car accident, and while examining her condition, the family found out that the mother has a tumor in her brain. The physical exam also indicated that she had light stroke and arteriosclerosis at the time. Soon after, she's diagnosed with an early-stage dementia. As her condition progresses, the mother experienced a rapid decline in her ability for the short-term memory, and it led her to the depression and social phobia. Furthermore, once delusion breaks in, the mother and the daughter started to fall apart. The mother and the daughter confronted the most about the mother attending the daycare center. When an officer from the National Health Insurance Service visited their house for the mother's long-term care grading test, the officer introduced KNDHL to the daughter. The daughter called KNDHL in 2016, about a year and a half after the mother is diagnosed with dementia. Since she had no one around until then to express her hardships or someone to really understand what she's going through, the daughter poured herself out to the counselor at KNDHL. From that day, the daughter started to receive case management from KNDHL and had sessions with the counselor twice a month. With the support from the counselor, the daughter realized firmly that her mother to attend the daycare center would benefit both of them and persuaded the mother to register at the daycare center. As a result, the mother began her first day at the daycare center within a month from the day that the daughter called KNDHL. The mother's condition had improved as she starts to go out and meet people at the daycare center, and this change affected the daughter's condition as well in a positive way. KNDHL continued to provide case management and assist the daughter to assist her mother with her behavioral and psychological symptoms. The KNDHL's caregiver support expands its service to the caregiver education. When the provincial and metropolitan dementia centers host a training course and family education program named Hearim for the professionals at the local dementia centers so they can operate the program at their dementia centers, KNDHL counselors play a role as an instructor with their expertise in dementia and the experience with the family of the people with dementia. In 2015, the year that the Hearim is developed, KNDHL gave 55 lectures in 17 provinces, and through the local dementia centers, Hearim is being implemented across the nation. In addition, for the caregiver self-help groups that request support from KNDHL through the local dementia centers, KMDHL matches the council with the group and offers its members the counseling for care skills and the ways to reduce the care burden. This service started in 2016, and since then, KMDHL supported about 1,800 caregivers from 228 caregiver self-help groups. The next is the call reception service called Hanaro that KMDHL offers for the local dementia centers. Through this Hanaro service, KMDHL turns the local dementia centers at work, also for 24/7 for the clients, even after the business hours or on holidays that the local dementia centers are supposed to be closed. While the dementia centers are closed, the calls to the local dementia centers are redirected to the KMDHL. If the clients have inquiries that the KMDHL can answer immediately, such as the location of the local dementia centers or the information on the support services, KMDHL takes the inquiries and ends the service. But for example, if the inquiries are about making a reservation for dementia screening with the local dementia centers or about submitting the application for the services, KMDHL takes the call and forwards the messages to the local dementia centers the next day.
Can I ask you to speed up the last slides, otherwise we won't have time for the final speaker. Sorry. Sure.
From 2015 to 2018, KMDHL served a total of 364 local dementia centers and the public health care centers through this Hanaro service. The number of inquiries the KMDHL processed through the Hanaro service totals about 14,000. As the numbers of the dementia centers using the Hanaro service increase, the inquiries the KMDHL covers also have increased over the year, and it ended at about 5,400 in 2018. Okay, the quick to the last is the telephone survey that KMDHL added its role as a dementia center in 2018. And the policy suggestion that KMDHL collects and organizes the problems that counselors receive over and over during the counseling and sends the content as a policy suggestion to the Ministry of Health and Welfare once a week. The yearly suggestion that has made is about 100 on average. KMDHL hopes that these suggestions will contribute to improve and change the policy for the people with dementia. And second to the last slide. Overall, in 2017, KMDHL received the Korean standard of the KS service certification for its services, counseling process, and the management system that were presented here today. KMDHL met all the standards guidelines for the helpline service, such as organization management and confidentiality protection. And through this certification, KMDHL officially became an organization that the clients can trust for the service they received.